Morning, everybody. This is Jerry Avila. I am the producing branch manager for True Path Loans here in California. I actually have our Ventura branch opening up here this month. And basically, we're here for the Broker Playbook and essentially to teach you how to better serve Hispanics/Latinos in our communities. Here in Ventura County specifically, just to kind of give a little bit of background, we were one of the main first counties that opened up the NAREP chapter, so one of the founding chapters for NAREP. And as many of you know, NAREP stands for National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, which many of our AIME members are part of. One thing you learn out of NAREP is that our Hispanic communities are very diverse. There's a plethora of culture and dialect and different definitions for different words, and there's just so much variance within it that we're trying to make sure that we better poise ourselves as professionals to better serve our Hispanic community. Number one in this situation is why is Hispanic homeownership important to all of us, right? For me personally, I will say, being a first generation Latino here in California, here in the United States, first one to graduate high school, first one to essentially start my own career based off of just my own wits and understanding, right? So we want to make sure that we understand the culture that we're talking to. A lot of times it's people that are really, this is their first generation here. Maybe they're the family that migrated here and are trying to better themselves. And so there's a huge diverse group with different conversations that are being had over how to treat money and how to save money, how not to save money, and you get into a bunch of different topics, and we'll touch base on all of those. And honestly, I think that that's what the most important piece is here when we're talking to other Latinos and just brokers in general, when we're talking about how to better serve our community. Speaking about just Ventura County specifically, there is a 66% market base of Latino people in business and just our Latino community in general. Out of that, a third of that is essentially the first wave of Latinos that came through that are just having their kids growing up right now and want to better their life and their circumstances, right? So they're getting encouraged to purchase, but they're not quite sure and not quite trusting. So you have to tread really lightly and be very cautious. And one of the really funny things is that you get a really large segment of people that are trying to purchase or those that are trying to purchase are largely Latinos. And so that's who we are trying to really give that sense of trust and that sense of cooperation and understanding, so that way when they make that next step and they take that leap of faith to better their circumstances, now we're talking about a real improvement for them and how they can leave a lasting generational effect for their whole family. So those are some of the main topics that I personally like to touch on when we're talking about Latinos as a broker. We want to make sure that we're paying attention to those little quirks or differences between one culture and another, from a Mexican and a Salvadorian, from a Puerto Rican and a Cuban. Like, there is so much similar yet so different all at the same time. So those are really some of the big important pieces to understand about them, get to understand them a little better before jumping in and trying to go sell. Right. And ultimately earn their trust, because at the end of the day, a lot of times, I will say myself included, I'm not very trusting of people in sales. But that's changed over time, just because I've come to see, like, okay, when somebody's genuine and actually cares, they want to know more, they want to dive deeper, they want to understand you and your needs in order to better serve. And so those are some of the things that we want to take care of. Another one of the topics that wanted to be discussed here was common mistakes that we make. And part of that stems back into that previous conversation where not understanding your client is a huge factor. And it's because, again, we can't jump and assume that just because we all speak Spanish, that we're all going to be good, that we're all going to automatically earn the trust because we speak Spanish. Heck, some of the best responses that I've ever seen, honestly, came from somebody who's not a Latino. He's an older gentleman, uh, Caucasian, and was speaking Spanish to his family. And yeah, he spoke Spanish, so they felt a little bit more comfortable, but it was his approach. And it was his wanting to understand their needs and their wants first before taking that next step. And that was honestly very encouraging for me to see. Being a Latino myself, I was like, okay, there are people that actually care. And so we look at those circumstances and want to make sure that we can do that too, that we want to provide that assurance. We want to provide that opportunity for people in our community to really better be served, and ultimately how we as professionals are going to really provide that knowledge, provide that support, and really provide that clear understanding, the transparency and clarity that I constantly preach to not only any of my clients, but anyone that's on my team. We want to make sure that we're always asking questions. And if something doesn't seem like they're quite understanding, ask the question. Did you quite capture that? And if I need to dive deeper, please ask, because I don't know what I don't know. And obviously I can't help you know something that you don't know if you don't tell me. So it's all about having a clear line of communication in order for us to improve as a whole. When it comes to us as brokers in our community, we want to make sure that we're providing, again, that clear line of communication, that transparency, that clarity, and really just opening that dialogue, because at the end of the day, that dialogue will carry a lot more weight when it comes to how it is that we are perceived, how it is that the words that are coming out of our mouth are actually heard versus just, okay, how soon can I get out of here, kind of conversation. And so we want to build that trust. We want to build that connection with our consumers. And at the end of the day, the best way to do that in my opinion, with Latinos is getting to understand them and know them better. You really have to break in those points of conversation and break down those walls before you ever actually get to cross into that safe space for them. And so ultimately then you're not going to be judged or questioned as harshly, just because you've already gone into their space and you've already earned that trust and earned that opportunity to be present and then be receptive towards what you're saying. Another thing about it is, for those of us that are out there trying to better serve Hispanics, just try to better understand the cultures, get a little glimpse of what each culture is about. Really, I'm a huge history nut, so I like learning about different facets of history and cultures and locations and what happened here, what happened in history, but then also how does that impact the culture? I'm a big I was a sociology major in college, and that was one of the things that I loved about it, is getting to understand the cultures that I'm dealing with, because every culture has its, like I said, its diverse group and its own little nugget of information that is different from the next. And ultimately, me to some of my good friends who are Salvadorian, you call us all Mexican, and all of a sudden a Salvadorian is not gonna like that situation. They're not happy with that. A Salvadorian being saying everyone's Salvadorian. No, they're not gonna. Mexican's not gonna admit that or accept that. Everyone has their culture, everyone has their space, and they want it to be respected. And more than anything, I think it really comes down to that. It is the respect factor. But once you understand the culture, understand the people, then you'll earn that respect, and you're given that opportunity. Now, do you have to speak Spanish to serve them? No, absolutely not. Sometimes, as long as you have a partner, let's just say your real estate partner is the one who speaks Spanish, they can communicate for you, and as long as you're being sincere in your conversation, the way you carry yourself comes off sincere to them. That when they get it translated, they will understand that this is why this person is working with this individual. Even though they don't speak Spanish, they're there to serve you, and they are really working together in order to better provide you the best service that they can. And so ultimately, those are some of the biggest sticking points that I can pull from that. And and really, with such a large market base, I believe the number was 66% of Latinos here in California, right? It's like 66% Latino. Um, how how massive is that? I mean, that's more than half of the entire population is Latino. So what does that tell you about the future buyers? What does it tell you about current buyers? It tells you that there's a large pool of people that need assistance that may not know, and because of the culture, they may have not been educated into how to purchase a home, how to save money properly in order to be able to purchase a home. Those are some of the biggest obstacles. You educate them and you provide them with the knowledge and the information that they're looking for, then ultimately you're going to be the one being set up for success as well. Not You're just not setting them up for success, you're setting yourself up for success because you're putting the time and effort into educating someone, even if it does take an extra 3, 6, 9 months, a year. um, Trust me, the process, the domino effect of that one person that you took a year. Me personally, I've taken 2 years on one particular client. It took us 2 years to get from point A all the way to buying a home. And for that, once that occurred, all of a sudden it becomes like you were the greatest gift on earth because you were there to help them, you were there to provide them support, and ultimately it was the best thing that could have ever happened to them. So ultimately, you can be that reason, that spark that caused this now fire within the entire family to want to also purchase. And the perfect example is I have a family here in town that I started with the oldest brother, and ultimately I did the sisters, I did the oldest sisters, I did the youngest sisters, I did the uncles and the aunts, and then I did the dad. And so ultimately you go through the entire family just because all of a sudden they see like, oh, this is actually possible. Why can't I do it? And all of a sudden you have that huge domino effect. So those are the quick really bullet points that I can say that are really helpful for us as professionals, as brokers, to really amplify what we do to better serve a community that really, in certain ways, is underserved because they're not better understood, and they're not trying to really draw that out. So I encourage all of you guys to continue, keep pressing, keep learning, keep developing, and just keep striving for to be better every single day. Just strive to be better, and this is a great way for us to be able to do that and serve more families in the process. All right, guys. So again, thank you so much for being here and watching this video. Really appreciate it. Again, it's the Broker Playbook. Keep watching the episodes, man. This is going to be good stuff, and it's going to be ways for us to better improve our business. So again, I'm Jerry Avila. I'm the branch manager and producing branch manager of TruePath Loans. And if there's ever a need, just pick up the phone, give me a call. I'm more than happy to always share any bit of information. But again, tune into the next Broker Playbook. All right, guys? Bye.